Good morning, everybody. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Welcome to part 3 of How to Ride. Today we're going to be focusing on gear that you need to have when riding and my opinion on it. Different folks have different opinions. I am very much the opinion of you should have all the gear all the time at GATT, because you never know when you're going to be in an accident, what kind of accident you're going to be in, and you can do all the right things. You can be the safest rider in the world and yet still be in a fatal accident because of somebody else's inattention. So for me, this is a discussion I had with Tiny Tater when I first started riding. You know, I have a family at home, and so the compromise was, for me to go ride, I need to be a safe rider and have all the gear to give myself every chance of getting home in the event that I am actually in an accident. Getting home in one piece. So I'm going to be talking about the gear that I have. I'm going to talk about 3 different tiers of gear. First tier is gear that you should absolutely have. In my mind, you should all have the best quality gear that you can afford in this top tier. No questions asked. Wear it all the time. The second tier is nice to have gear. So gear that is not as critical, but still important. So it's a nice to have. So if you can afford it, I would highly recommend getting both tiers, the need to have and nice to have tier. I recommend getting both of those. And then the last tier is the comfort gear. So gear that you don't really need, and it's not really going to have any impact on your safety per se, but it's gear that can make your ride more comfortable, so that way you're not as distracted, or your ride can be more enjoyable. Now the top tier, gear that you must have. Starting off with number 1, having a full-faced helmet. What I have right here, full-faced helmet, not a half helmet, not a little shell over your head, a full-faced helmet. Most accidents with riders, the impact is on the chin. So if your chin and your face is exposed, your helmet's not going to do you any good. So I recommend getting a full-faced helmet. And by law, in most states, you have to have a helmet. And your head is the most important thing on your body. You can survive without an arm, you can survive without a leg, you can survive without fingers, but you cannot survive without a head. So protect your most critical asset. Invest in the best helmet that you can possibly afford. If there's only one thing you can buy, it's a helmet. And I recommend getting a helmet that has at least a Snell rating. The DOT rating is a joke. There's plenty of resources and other videos out there. Like I recommend Fort9, where he goes through the differences between DOT and Snell. And DOT is kind of a joke. For helmet manufacturers, it is incredibly easy to pass a DOT rating. And I see posts all the time on Reddit, on Facebook, where someone was in an accident with a DOT helmet and their head was still crushed, injured, whatever, because the helmet did not provide enough protection against that severe of an accident. Now, are you going to be invulnerable if you have a Snell rated helmet? Not at all. There's still always a risk of injury, but you are lowering your chances of the helmet failing to protect you. So I recommend invest in at least a Snell rated helmet. That's what I have. That's what Tiny Tater has. So if you can afford it, it's more expensive, get a Snell rated helmet. And I'll put the totals up here in terms of how much I've spent in each category. So I have highly invested in my gear. I've spent probably at least $2,000 across all my gear. Not even counting just what I wear, but the comfort mods, the things I carry with me just in case, like an external battery pack, yada. So I'll put up on the screen what I have spent on all across my gear that I wear on a regular basis. So number one, helmet. And I think my Shoei RF 1200 was, I want to say $500. Tiny Taters was $750, and I almost ruined her helmet. You can catch that video up here in the corner. Yeah, putting on the Ridewear class, but I almost ruined her helmet, but I didn't, luckily, so spoiler. So the second thing that you must have is good quality gloves. Ideally, gloves that are going to have impact protection, so either those hard knuckles or rubberized like I have on mine, a slide protection on your palm, something that you can wear that's comfortable but is also going to offer you impact and slide protection. Not those dinky little sleeves that you can put on your gloves that are going to get shredded the instant they touch pavement. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about good quality gloves. These are about $120. I have cold weather gloves, which I really should be wearing right now because my fingers are getting pretty cold. And that one's $170 because it's waterproof and yada yada yada. But anyway, get good quality gloves, impact and slide protection. Make sure that it has the slide on the palm, because that's where most of the sliding will happen, is on your palm. The third is your jacket. So get a good quality jacket, full sleeves, not just a vest. Get full sleeves, something that can have armor in it, so you got back protection, shoulder protection, elbow protection. It's a sliding scale in terms of how much you want to spend on jackets. Mine, I think, was $250, maybe more, maybe less. A jacket that is, again, either leather or textile that can offer slide and some impact protection on the critical areas, your back, shoulders, and elbows. Not just a vest. Again, something that covers your arms, because you want to cover your whole body. Your arms are not immune to, your skin is going to get torn off if they're not covered. And I wear this jacket all summer, and I'm comfortable with it. I can open up the vents, it's not too bad. I just wear a short sleeve shirt under it, or I have a thin liner that I'll wear, so that helps keep me cool. So that's the top three: helmet, gloves, and a jacket for must-haves. The second tier we have is nice-to-have gear. Now, this is going to be your boots, your pants, and earplugs. Starting off with what I think is, if you have to get one thing in this tier, I think it's going to be earplugs, protect your hearing. So I have some $20 silicone filtered earplugs. So it's not those foam ones that completely block off everything, because that makes things too quiet, in my opinion, for me. But those are certainly cheaper. You can buy them in bulk. So if you like that better, certainly get that for you. But for me, it gets, I can't hear enough at that point. So I have these silicone earplugs that I wear every single time I go ride, just to protect my hearing. And the nice thing is they're filtered, so they let in certain frequencies of audio wavelengths, so it's a little bit easier to hear voices, but it cuts out the kind of the drone of the motorcycle and the air. So protect your hearing. It's something that when you ride, you're actually exposing your eardrums to higher levels of decibels over a longer period of time. So protect your hearing, wear earplugs. They're cheap, just wear them. There's no excuse not to have it. But that's a nice to have. You can still ride just as safely without it, just over the long term you might damage your hearing a bit. The next thing I would say you should get in this tier are boots. So I have these waterproof boots. I've had them for, again, a couple of years. I think these are $200 something. They have ankle protection. They have some impact protection, thick leather, pretty heavy. That's the next thing. So if you drop your bike, these will help against your feet or ankles getting crushed or twisted. And boots are going to more likely stay on than just sneakers. So it's going to help protect your foot in the event of a crash and your ankles. For the love of God, please do not wear flip-flops. I don't care what type of bike you have. Do not wear flip-flops. Don't wear Converse. You know, don't wear just your trainers or your sneakers. Get at least decent shoes to wear. You know, at the very least, something that's going to help protect your feet. Just don't wear flip-flops. And then the last thing is the pants. Probably the thing that's least needed. But again, I still have them, so I have pants that have pads on the knees. They're Kevlar lined, again, to help protect against sliding. and I think these are about $150, and I have another pair that were about $300. So as always, it's a sliding scale in terms of how much you want to invest in your gear to protect yourself. I have highly invested in gear. By no means do you have to spend as much as I have. Everyone has, you know, different levels of income, different amounts of disposable money. Invest in the gear that is going to work best for you, and you know, you be the best judge for yourself how much you think you need. Again, pants are really nice to have, but I think if there's one thing you can probably get away with not having, it's probably the pants. Now, the last tier, this is all purely comfort. These are things that you really don't need to have at all, but they can make your ride more enjoyable. So starting off at the top of this tier, I have the Cardo Pack Talk Bold Bluetooth headset. So this is going to be what allows me to take calls if Tiny Tater calls me, listen to music. It's voice commanded, so I'm not fiddling with my phone at all. I'm not trying to figure out navigation. I can do all voice commands, so it's nice because I don't have to pull over to start music or to do anything like that. And I can answer calls, I can increase and raise the volume, all by voice command, or very easily just by using the slider and the buttons. And it lets me talk to other riders too. So if I'm in a group ride, and for me a group ride is only like 2 or 3 people, I don't ride in big groups at all. We'll talk about that later on in another video. But if I'm with other riders, I'll be able to communicate with them, and so if I'm leading, I can communicate to them, hey, there's a pothole here, watch out. So I'll still give the, you know, the signals to watch out for certain things, or saying, hey, we're gonna make a turn up here, we're gonna make a turn up there. So I'll still do the hand signals and everything else, but it's also a lot easier just to be able to tell everybody, hey, this is what we're doing. And being able to listen to music and just really enjoy the ride is also a very nice perk. So I think the Cardo was about $280. And I've really liked it, so, but by no means do you need to have it. The next thing on that list is mainly for colder weather, but I guess also applies for summer if you get the right gear. But getting liners. So right now you can kind of see this white thing. This is a kind of like an Under Armour. It's like that mesh liner to help keep me warm. I also have another one that's specifically meant for the summer to help keep me cool. I also have bought long johns to help keep my legs warm. So these liners like 20-40 bucks for everything, so it's really not too expensive, and it really does actually help keep me fairly warm. The alternative to that is to buy heated gear, which I did a quick count. I just looked online. I don't have heated gear, but I did a quick look online on Revzilla, and if I wanted to get heated gloves, a jacket liner, and a pants liner, that would be about $600. So if you're riding in really cold weather for an extended period of time, that might be a worthwhile investment for you. For me, not that bad. I'm in California, it's not that bad. I'm fine with just the liner and my normal gear. It does get me a little bit cold, but I don't mind the cold at all. I would much prefer to be cold than hot, but that's just me. All right, and the last thing on the list, probably the thing you need the least important thing, is a neck gainer. So right now you can see it's a little red thing. So the neck gainer is good for blocking out some airflow, getting into your helmet, again, if it's colder, but it helps block out some of the wind noise. If you ever get a chance to pull over and you clean off your helmet, wipe down your visor, wipe off your camera lenses, the gainer is a pretty good thing just to wipe that all off. I got a pack of like 5 or 6 for $10. They're fairly cheap and they're okay. It's just a tiny little bit of comfort for you. So we're gonna go down this road for a change. I've been down this road before. It's got a lot of twisties, so it's very good for technical riding. I try to give you guys a little bit of a different visual at the very end of the video. So to summarize, 3 different tiers of gear. Top tier, gear you must have, you should wear every single time you ride, no questions asked. Helmet, your gloves, and your jacket. The second tier, nice to have gear if you can continue to invest in your safety. are your boots, your pants, and earplugs. And then the last tier, comfort gear that you can get, Bluetooth headset, liners for the hotter or colder riding months or riding season, and a neck gainer. Again, pretty cheap. It's a nice to have. It's nice to have it. I like it. So that's my very basic gear list that I think you should think about investing in for your safety and for your riding experience. So key point for why you should wear all your gear all the time is because you never know when there's going to be some type of accident. Key point, yesterday I was actually recording this video and I was actually a witness to a pretty severe accident. So what had happened was I was following one car and we were going into a blind turn, and this was on an incline on a hill. So it was kind of like this, but it was this pretty steep hill. I was following a car, another car came around that turn, but took the turn way too sharp and actually went into our lane and head on slammed into the car in front of me. Now, if I wasn't paying attention or if I was following the car too close, I would have rammed right into the guy I was following. But luckily, I was following a safe distance behind, so I was able to pull over, and airbags were deployed. The guy, I'm pretty sure, had a pretty severe concussion because he was very dazed, and I stayed behind. Cops were called. I actually gave the guy my video card to provide to his insurance company because the guy was, again, so rattled and he wasn't really aware of what was happening. And I said, okay, you know what, just take the video card. It literally has video evidence of what just happened. In retrospect, I wish I kept it and just sent him the footage later on so that way I could have made a video on that. But I was just thinking, how can I help this guy? And he was so rattled up. I wasn't even thinking about the channel. I wasn't thinking about myself. I was just like, how can I help this guy? So I gave him the video card. I don't expect to ever get it back or hear from him again. It is what it is, but I realized this morning, like, I could have made a video on that. And it would have been really great to have seen how I reacted and seen the accident and just kind of how that was all handled. But oh well, it is what it is. That's why it's so important, in my opinion, why you should have all your gear all the time. Especially with helmets. I always remember that one image of that one, I think he was riding a cruiser. Stereotypically, I'm going to say he's riding a cruiser because he only had that little shell helmet on and he had a rock in his face. Had he been wearing a full face helmet, that wouldn't have been an issue. And I personally don't understand the desire or the logic behind only wearing the little dome helmet, because that's not going to offer any protection at all. For me, it's about riding safe while still being able to enjoy the ride. And so for me, that means wearing a full face helmet. I don't understand why you wouldn't try to protect yourself, because you never know when a rock is gonna fly and hit you in your face. I know the odds of that are low, but it happened to that guy, so why couldn't it happen to you? Or in the event you're a crash, most riders that are that have a head injury, the impact is going to be on the chin. So why wouldn't you do everything you can to protect yourself? Yes, it's more expensive, but now for the riders who literally cannot afford to afford safe gear, and the bike is their only option for commuting to get to work, I would recommend save up, because you are putting yourself at risk. But for everybody else who does have disposable income to invest in something that they can afford, and they just choose not to, this is my message to you: is please invest in your safety, because you never know when something is going to happen. I see way too many posts online of saying, like, write her down, check on your people, and how many of those are fatalities that could have been prevented had the person just had a better helmet or the right gear, or how many limbs could have been saved if the rider had good gear. I just want y'all to be safe. That's really my key message. Be safe, invest in the best gear that you can afford, and take it seriously. Right? I don't care if I look kind of stupid if I have all my gear. Personally, I think I look fine with all my gear. I mean, but I don't get the try to be cool aspect of only wearing a shell, or only wearing a vest, or not even wearing a jacket, not even wearing gloves, wearing flip-flops. I personally don't get it. I think you look more foolish than you look cool when you're so exposed like that. But that's just my opinion. I probably pissed off some people, but I'm an all the gear, all the time type of rider. And so I want to make sure that I am doing everything in my power. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that is in my control, so that way I can get home and be with my family in one piece while still being able to have a good time riding. That's my opinion. That's my perspective. Those are my recommendations for all of you. Let me know in the comments below what you think. What gear have you invested in? Or do you have counter opinions? I'd love to have a debate. I'd love to have a conversation on this. So leave a comment below on what you think, what your perspectives are. If you liked what you saw today, please do hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow a small, tight-knit community so that way we can have more conversations, and it's really going to help encourage me to make more videos. I mean, I'm going to make the videos regardless, because if it helps at least one person, then I think that's the reason why I'm doing it. If it helps at least one person, then I'll have done my job. To help grow the channel, help get more exposure to people, please do subscribe. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to grow this community. And for some of you that have been pretty regular in commenting on my videos, thank you. It really makes my day when I see those alerts come in saying, hey, so-and-so's commented on that video. I actually do wonder, I wonder what so-and-so is going to say about this video. So I do care, and I do notice, and it really does make my day when I do get some engagement on the videos. If you'd like to, you can click the bell icon so you get a notification, but personally, I don't do it, so you know, I'll just watch my feed. I check YouTube fairly regularly, so I personally don't do it. But if you would like to, by all means, go ahead. I upload every Friday in the morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Pacific time. So you can always look for my videos on Friday, but sometimes you may get surprised with a bonus video. So please like, share, subscribe, comment down below what you think. As always, be brave, do good, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody.